Now, you leave Kempton Park, there's an escort, you are transported in. How were your hands at the time? Were they restrained in any manner?
My hands were cuffed.
And how were you handcuffed?
I was handcuffed from the back.
And talk to me about the tightness of the handcuffs on your wrists. Were they loose? Were they very tight?
uhlala phezu kwazo vele izandla zakosi zidibane isitulo nomzimba zincinyo zakosi bezibancile kuwe so isikhala sasingekho.
The cuffs, they were tight on my hands, and when I sat down on the chair, when I sat down on the seat, and then I sat back on my hands, and then those handcuffs, they were very much tight.
Kule address mina ilo lami laseThembisa address nganikeze yona nganikeze iaddress yase Muzi.
Pertaining to the matter in Atembisa about my address, I gave out the address of where my uncle was staying to my legal representative.
Okay, and do you still remember that address? Just going into that briefly.
Ngawusakhumbula yini ikhili lakhona phe Tembisa laseVusumuzi?
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the address?
Adelthini ikhili lakhona? 1818
Vusumuzi section.
Vusumuzi section.
Okay. Now, still continue that journey. Were you handcuffed at your back throughout your trip from Kempton Park or Tambo Airport until the destination, which is your parents' homestead?
Ukusuka eVelaria.
Okay, sorry, yeah. From Velaria to Kempton Park, then to
Emahlabathini ekhaya.
Okay.
I was handcuffed from Velaria up until we reached home in Emahlabathini, my homestead.
I know just how heartbreaking it is to listen to Muzi repeat once again, and this time with so much more detail as he is being led by Ramasipili, who, let me tell you something, give this man his flowers because he took the details, which I imagine that Nisi has been talking to Muzi, right? So that is not new information to him. But what Ramasipili did is he took every tiny little detail and painted a picture for us so we get a full understanding. And in comprehension, I've also pulled up the map just so you see how far he drove with his hands behind his back for 8 hours plus. Yes, I paused for effect. For 8 hours plus. An intimidation tactic so that Kininda and friends can go to his parents' home and show him just how in what bad state their son is. No food, no bathroom breaks, no bio breaks, nothing. Just being seated in that van, handcuffed for 8 hours plus. And this is not the beginning of the torturization. Remember, he had been in police custody since the 30th of May, 2025. So he was already, I imagine, in an appalling state. So, shout out to Ramasipili, okay, for bringing us this detail, as difficult as it is to listen. But I think it's an essential service. I think it's an essential service to paint the picture. And actually, I think the judge should go inside Pagati within the van for the local inspection for 8 hours and then come back and tell us, yeah, but Kininda, it was his day off. Let's continue listening on.
And whilst you were still seated in the car, as per your testimony that your parents were called one by one to come and have a conversation with you, were you still handcuffed as you were seated in that car at your homestead?
Yes, I was handcuffed at all times.
And now between from Velaria, Kempton Park, up to Emahlabathini, were you afforded any comfort breaks along the route?
I don't remember whether was I afforded such an opportunity or not. However, I think I only got to help myself by peeing when we arrived at home.
And at the time when you were booked out from Velaria, had you already had breakfast?
I did not have my breakfast.
So from Velaria to Kempton Park to Emahlabathini, were you offered anything to eat or drink?
No, they never gave me anything.
Did you eat at your homestead, at your parents' homestead?
Cha, akaze ngidle.
No, I never ate.
Did you have a drink at your parents' homestead?
Ngabe sikhona yini isiphuzo wathi ukusiphuza uma ufika late yini emakhaya?
Cha, akaze ngiphuze.
No, I never drank anything.
The police officers that transported you, did they have food along the route when they were transporting you home?
Yebo sikhona.
Yes.
Now, from your hometown back to, you tell me the route that you took. Did you come back from your home to Kempton Park, then Villaria, or did you come from your home directly to Pretoria, Villaria?
At this point, Ramasipili is showing us just how inhumane the conditions are, as opposed to if he had just asked in one sentence, did you eat the entire time? It would have been no, but he began by showing us that it was an 8-hour plus distance that he was traveling, handcuffed. There was no breaks for him to go and relieve himself, and then from then on, the officers ate, just to show you they knew that it was time to eat. It's not a responsibility they forgot for themselves, but with regards to the suspect, they couldn't be bothered. I imagine he was just constantly just left and locked up in the car as they would go and do whatever they need to do. So basically, it's not really an 8-hour drive, it's an 8-hour plus drive. So because if you have to count the breaks that they took, and also they stopped to eat, right? So Ramasipili, brilliant. He's still painting the picture. He's taken us to his family's home, and then he shows us even when they were home, there was still no food that was offered to Muzi. And not only that, the fact is they then allowed him to then go to the bathroom at home and then back into the vehicle again. The entire time, his family would come to him while he was handcuffed inside the vehicle. Wow. I'm speechless. But Ramasipili is taking us on a journey. Now they've headed back to Pretoria. Let's hear how it goes.
Sasuke ekhaya Emahlabathini, bandlula e-airport. Umhula wathatha imoto yakhe noGinile wathatha imoto yakhe. Lezi zithu zase ziyangiphelekezela imoto iFortuna neNissan Qashqai sasongibeka la eVelani.
My apologies, counsel. Ngicela uphinde futhi bafo. Nabandlula airport airport yasemakhaya noma yalana.
Bendlule e-airport yase Captain Park.
Okay. From Emahlabathini, they drove all the way up to the airport in Captain Park. That is where Mukhula wathatha khona imoto yakhe hamba.
Masifike Captain Park umhula wehla wathatha imoto yakhe noGinile wathatha imoto yakhe. Lezi zithu zangiphelekezela zazongibeka eVelani.
Okay, Mukhula then took her own car, and even Mr. Gininda took his own car, and then they drove into different cars, Mukhula and Gininda, and then the two vehicles, they then escorted us all the way to Villaria.
And the same questions, en route back from Emahlabathini, were you given any food or drink by the police officers?
Umuzwa ukuthi umgaqweni ngesikhathi ngihamba emgaqweni sendleleni nesuka Emahlabathini ngaba amaphoyisa akupha yini iphuzo noma mhlawumbe ukudla ukuthi udle.
Cha, awangipanga lutho.
No, they never offered me food or drinks.
Mr. Sibia, I'm thankful. Those were the questions that I had for you. My Lord, I'm indebted. Thank you.
Now I want to remind you, after hearing all those details, where are the AVL documents? Where are the 121 dockets? No, wrong case. Where are the AVL dockets? Because you cannot tell me a police vehicle went all the way, was probably having to fuel up as well, multiple times, and they have no AVL docket. They also don't know the Qashqai. I can't even say it the way Mzansi says it. They also don't have it. They also don't even know the vehicle. They're just like, oh my God, what are you talking? We don't know that vehicle. The Fortuna, you already heard, it burnt to smithers beyond recognition. And then, there's just no other cars that have AVL records. There is no AVL records because the state wants to paint it as if Muzi has imagined this thing because there's just no records. But for me, the family confirms that they were there. This group of policemen, their cars, they confirm this very same story. It will be interesting to see how Mzansi takes this, how Mzansi takes this further. But we know cross-examination is coming, Baloy. So re-examination. Let's see what Mzansi is going to do. Now, let's listen to the judge because I think he has enjoyed having a break, It's been a long break. Nobody talking about him because of the Mandela Commission, Ket Matlala, Katie Malefe, Brown Mokgotsi, Mkhwanazi. The list is endless, okay? There is an endless list ever since the 6th of July, 2025. But the judge decides this is the moment he wants to shine. Let's listen in.
Before we adjourn, just a verification. You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Manje
Telling me
nginkantolo-
here is this guy called Gininda who has mishandled you. And then suddenly he offers to take you to go and see your parents. And this gentleman is a brigadier. It's a Saturday, ne? Yes. Hello? He goes with his juniors. Mahola, Mohanu, Buthelezi, whoever. All these are his juniors, which report to him.
manje kade hamba namaphoyisa amancane kuyena kabomukhana bomukhula nabobuthelezi futhi nabanye bonkana amaphoyisa amancane kuyena kade arepota kuyena njengesikhulu sabo.
But it
Manje
suddenly
ngenduna
shows
yabo.
this magnanimous effort from his part. He leaves his family, his children, and he goes down with you. It's about 6 hours or 8 hours. Is that not so?
But
From Kempton Park to Emahlabathini. It's about how long?
But he
7 hours.
7 hours.
7 hours, my lord.
You can add another 1 hour from Villaria to Kempton Park. Okay?
Yes.
It's about 8 hours.
But ungajokela futhi ngelinye ihora elilodwa lokusuka eVillaria kuze kufika lapha eCaptain Park ukuthi mawaphelile amahora khona kade ku8 hours ukuthi nihambe nje kuphela emakhaya.
They
But
don't
babu-
stop anywhere on the path to say, hey, here's some water, here's some food. You can go and pass some water. They just go direct, 8 hours, right up to Emahlabathini. When you get there, they don't say you must have food with your family or have a drink or what. They just show your parents yourself, which is a traumatic event for you because your parents are crying and they've never seen you like this, your wife. And then you drive back again, 8 hours. And you don't go, and they don't give you food, they don't eat also. They don't drink water or cold drink. Just like that, 16 hours, no food, no drink. You don't have to answer. Okay.
athi ke ummeli
I'm just wondering.
athi into emangaza nje kuphela.
Ngicela ukuyiphendula mina.
No, it's okay, you don't have to answer. Are we adjourning until tomorrow? Okay, sit, tomorrow.
If you rewind, you will hear that the court said, I want to ask clarifying questions. He proceeds with his clarification questions, which more sound like a statement and insinuation. He declares that Gininda has got children and a family. There's no way he would spend 16 hours away from his family on a Saturday. Absolutely no way. My question is, my lord, how do you know? Do you have Brown Mokgotsi checking this out for you? How do you know, my lord? Because you sound like you are affirmative. You're basing your knowledge on what, my lord? We're going to need facts for my lord. Are you testifying, my lord? Have you descended back into the arena, as Ngome Zulu had constantly said, may his soul rest in peace. My lord, you shocked the entire courtroom. The entire courtroom. Even a whole Fisiguhle and Tuli over there, accused number 5 with multiple life sentences, is in shock at what my lord just did. Muzi wanted to respond to the insinuation that there's no way that the police would drive you all that way back home and not feed you. And my lord says, you don't have to answer. And Muzi says, I want to answer. And my lord says, no, you don't. And stands up and leaves. Let's discuss this behavior in the comment section down below. It should definitely be brought to the attention of the ad hoc committee. We cannot have a judge just telling a witness, no, I don't want to hear your answer. I've already made my ruling anyway. But with that said, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. This was a difficult one for me to do. Actually, it's been difficult, not just because of the ad hoc committee, but it's difficult to hear Muzi bring this back to the forefront. But we must sit and listen because it is part of his story. It's part of his defense. And sadly, there are no AVL dockets. None whatsoever. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Please remember to like, to comment, to subscribe. You already know. I'll catch you on the next upload. Bye.